Most celebrity car collections tell you one thing: how much money the person has. Jay Leno's collection tells you something else entirely. He has been building it since he was 14 years old, starting with a non-running 1934 Ford pickup truck that he bought, fixed, and eventually sold to fund the next one. He never stopped that cycle. Today, his garage in Burbank, California spans 122,000 square feet and holds over 181 cars and 160 motorcycles. By conservative estimates, the collection is worth somewhere north of $50 million. But here's what separates it from every other garage of its size. Almost none of the cars are there because of what they cost. They're there because of what they solved, what they proved, what they attempted, and in some cases, what they almost destroyed. This is not a story about wealth. It's a story about what happens when someone with genuine curiosity and a near unlimited budget decides to preserve the ideas that the rest of the world threw away. The car that ran on tequila. In 1961, Chrysler made a bet that the gasoline engine's days were numbered. They believed the future belonged to the turbine, essentially a jet engine adapted for road use, and so they commissioned a car to prove it. The 1963 Chrysler Turbine Car had a body designed by the Italian coach builder Carrozzeria, finished in a deep metallic bronze. Under the hood sat the A831 turbine engine, a unit that spun at 44,600 revolutions per minute, produced 130 horsepower, and could be fueled by almost anything combustible: conventional gasoline, diesel, kerosene, jet fuel, and, as was tested and confirmed, tequila. Chrysler built 55 of them, including 5 prototypes. The other 50 were loaned to ordinary American families for 3 months each: doctors, teachers, factory workers who were asked to drive them and report back. It was one of the most ambitious real-world engineering trials in automotive history. When the program ended, Chrysler made a decision that still infuriates historians. They crushed all but 9. The official reason involved import tax complications from Italian-built bodies. The unofficial reason, most engineers agree, was that the turbine's fuel economy and emissions figures were going to be a problem as regulations tightened. 9 survived. 2 stayed with Chrysler, 6 went to museums, and 1, the only turbine car in any private collection anywhere on Earth, belongs to Jay Leno, who paid $415,000 for it in 2009. He has said he dreamed about owning it since he was 14. He drives it regularly. It still runs on tequila if you ask it to. The steam car that time forgot. Most people assume steam power was abandoned because it was primitive. The 1925 Doble E20 would like a word. Built by engineer Abner Doble in San Francisco, the E20 was the most advanced steam-powered automobile ever made. It ran nearly silently. No combustion knock, no gear changes, no clutch. It produced instant torque from rest, unlike any gasoline car of its era. It could accelerate from 0 to 75 miles per hour in a matter of seconds in 1925, when most cars were struggling to reach 50. And it could be started and ready to drive in under 30 seconds from cold, which was remarkable for a steam vehicle. Abner Doble built only 24 of them. He was a perfectionist to the point of financial self-destruction. He kept modifying and improving each car rather than scaling production, and the company eventually collapsed. His greatest engineering achievement killed his business. Leno's E20 is one of the survivors. He maintains and drives it. He has described the experience as unlike anything else in his collection, a glimpse of a parallel world where steam won, and the internal combustion engine never took over. In terms of engineering sophistication per decade, nothing else in his garage comes close. The car built once for one man and never again. In 1934, at the peak of the Great Depression, a single Duesenberg was built to a custom commission for pharmaceutical heir Josiah Lilly, the Walker Coupe. The price at the time was $25,000, roughly equivalent to $500,000 today, in a year when most American families were surviving on next to nothing. The Walker Coupe is the most expensive Duesenberg ever built from the factory. It has a 420 cubic inch straight 8 engine, producing around 265 horsepower through a downdraft carburetor system, wrapped in an aluminum body weighing over 6,000 pounds. It has suicide doors, headlights that protrude from the fenders like something from a science fiction film, lockable wheel wells. There is exactly one of them. There has always been exactly one. And it lives in Jay Leno's garage. He calls it a working piece of American art from a moment in history when the wealthy were still commissioning objects of extraordinary craftsmanship, even as the world fell apart around them. As an artifact of a specific cultural moment, nothing in his collection is quite like it. The 29-liter tank engine on wheels. Not everything Leno preserves is historically significant in a museum sense. Some of it is simply an act of engineering excess so extreme it becomes its own category. The Blastoline Special, known informally as the Tank Car, is a custom-built vehicle approximately 20 feet long, powered by a 29-liter World War II-era tank engine. It was built by Randy Grubb, a fabricator with a taste for the absurd, using components sourced from a decommissioned M47 patent tank. The car is fully road legal in California, which says something interesting about California's vehicle code. Leno has said he keeps it because it represents a kind of engineering philosophy that no manufacturer would ever sanction. Pure, consequence-free excess, built by one person because they could. In a collection full of engineering milestones, the tank car is the milestone of having no limits whatsoever, the McLaren F1 that came first. Within Leno's collection of genuinely priceless machinery, the 1994 McLaren F1 is the most valuable on paper, worth somewhere between $14 and $20 million depending on the market. He bought it for $800,000. He has described it as the greatest car ever built, and has repeated that position across 30 years of ownership without qualification. What makes his specific F1 notable beyond its rarity, one of 106 ever made, 71 of which were road cars, is that it was the first McLaren F1 ever legally imported into the United States. It came from a Dutch racing driver. It arrived in America before most people knew the car existed. Gordon Murray designed the F1 with a single instruction to himself: build a road car with no compromises, no turbos, no active aerodynamics, a naturally aspirated BMW V12 positioned in a central monocoque of carbon fiber. The driver's seat in the center, flanked by 2 passengers. Engine bay, lined with gold foil for heat reflection, because gold is the most effective heat management material available. Every decision was made on engineering merit alone. Leno does not store it. He drives it. He has put thousands of miles on it. He believes that a car kept static is a car being slowly disrespected, the rarest car of all, and why someone gave it away. In the late 1990s, Jay Leno was contacted by an elderly man named Harold Shotwell. Then, in his late 70s, living in failing health, Shotwell had something he needed Leno to take, a car he had built himself as a 17-year-old in Minnesota in 1931. One car, constructed by hand, by a teenager, from available parts, a motorcycle engine, a hand-welded steel body, a vehicle that existed because one person decided to build it and had no other reason than the desire to see if he could. There is no other Shotwell. There never was. Shotwell had no intention of making more. He just wanted a car. He offered it to Leno for free on a single condition: restore it, drive it, and never sell it. Leno accepted. The restoration took years, installing an electric starter, a modern alternator, a more powerful cooling fan to handle California's heat, which was considerably more aggressive than the Minnesota air the car was designed for. When it was finished, it ran. It still runs. Of 181 cars and 160 motorcycles built by the greatest manufacturers in automotive history: Bugatti, McLaren, Chrysler, Duesenberg, Doble. The rarest thing in Jay Leno's garage is the only car in the world built by a 17-year-old from Minnesota who simply wanted to drive something he made himself. That is why this collection is different. It doesn't just preserve what was expensive, it preserves what was human. Subscribe to Drive Directive for more deep dives into the greatest garages and engineering stories in automotive history, and let us know in the comments, which car surprised you the most?